All right. Okay, it's recording. All right. Hey, hi guys, Dan Hurley here, and I'm putting this video together kind of impromptu, basically to follow up on some posts I did on Facebook last week. It got a little bit more pushback than expected. Um, I'm doing this live, unedited, so I don't get accused of AI or whatever putting this stuff together. Okay. First of all, I want to apologize to some of our friends that got a little bit out of shape and offended, thinking that I've targeted them for some reason. I never intended to get you upset. I never intended to get an argument with you. I never intended to point you out or target you with it. I never intended to do anything at all. Okay? So I apologize for getting you up mad upset, and I know we've been friends for a long time, and so you know I'm sincere about this. You also know I'm sincere about that I'm not going to back out of my position here. Um, I'll be blunt. I'm the techie. I'm the one that's been in data centers. I'm the one that knows very well how this stuff works. So, more reason why we're doing this video here. So I get much deeper into how this stuff works, why you have so much pushback, and the fact is, the data centers going here locally. It's not going to happen. I'll explain that out towards the end here. Anyway, how do we get here? First of all, data centers have been around for a very long time, since the mid 60s. Okay. Everything we do in the modern world goes through a data center. Okay. Our emails, our banking, our healthcare, what we're seeing here right now on Facebook or YouTube, whatever, is on here. So anything in the modern world that requires technology more or less goes to the data center. They're inherently a good thing, okay? However, the past 2 or 3 years certainly gotten bad. They got a bad stigma to them, all right? And first, it must somewhat related to AI stuff that's been going on, because AI is kind of ramping up too, but not necessarily because of AI. And first, I thought it was just noise, a bunch of people somewhere everywhere else just kind of pushing back for no reason. Then it got local, because there is a potential change in zoning for where it could be a data center locally here, and all of a sudden, some of my friends got involved, and these friends I know have no idea what's going on. They're just parroting what they're hearing. Okay, and I clearly, it's kind of my responsibility to, hey, this is wrong. You're not doing the thing right way. But unfortunately, I kind of did the wrong way about it here. So here we are trying to correct that. And then things basically got interesting after that. So anyway, let's kind of roll back a little bit. Let's follow the money. Okay. I did a little bit of research on that recently here. And to surprise, or really not a surprise, the money for these anti-data center activists, and a lot of it is they're for all some a lot well funded. Okay, that's another thing you need to. But they're heavily linked to climate change activists. Okay, and that has decades of experience of history of activism. Okay, and that also is important here too. That experience is brought into a different type of activism. So this is not a grassroots cause. This is very well organized, very well funded. Okay, and also here too, what matters about this all here too, and I hate to be blunt about this, but activism is very profitable. People make a lot of money doing that. Example is Black Lives Matter. The founders of BLM are very wealthy, millions of dollars they in personal wealth, beautiful homes, so on and so forth. Some are getting in trouble because of that, okay? These activist groups, if they don't make money outright, they're certainly funding a lot of people that work for these organizations. And so they have a real need to keep these things going, no matter what. So, and you add the fact that they have a lot of folks behind them that can help them out, money, as well as knowledge of how to promote propaganda. You have basically a well-oiled machine, okay? And so that's kind of what pushing those things here, and all this just kind of makes sense towards the end here, okay? I'm going to bring up a recent push for a a data center. It's in Gilroy, California. This is going to be like a million. Amazon is putting this together. It'll be like a 1,000,000 square foot facility or more, it's like that. The property has already been zone industrial for since the 80s, since 1981, if I'm correct. They've already been through the local process, and it's through CEQA, California Environmental Quality Agency. If you know anything about California, there's all kinds of agencies that will stop anything, any development, whatever, and CEQA is the big one. Okay? They can, regardless of what the local people do, CEQA can literally stop things in the track, and they've done this in the past. They let this thing go through. Okay? So there is no hiding this data center from anybody. There is no cloak and dagger stuff. This was up in public, approved. However, these activist organizations claim this was snuck through somehow, some way. Somehow, some way, $1 million square foot facility got snuck by the public, and it didn't happen. Okay, and unfortunately, that's the kind of the pattern that these activist groups have been doing. They've been taking these half truths and exploiting, expanding up to come up with a fabricated reality, for lack of better terms. Okay, and somehow, some way, they create this evil around data centers. Okay, they claim the companies snake these things through. It's impossible. How do you sneak $1 million square foot facility through anywhere? Okay, these organizations they're very well funded. There's no way to hide any of this stuff from these organizations. That's what they do for a living, literally. Okay, and they're going to guarantee there's going to be heavy scrutiny on any of these data centers, no matter where they're at. Okay, including in Gilroy. I mean, after the fact, they're still getting crucified on this. Okay, and also too, this location could have been anything else. Could have been a truck stop. Could have been a distribution center or something else, and that probably wouldn't have an issue. In fact, if it was a truck stop, it'd probably be much dirtier than what's going to be there. By the way, too, I should add here too, the water myth, which is Gilroy, and also what's going on here too. There's this thing that has been going around that somehow, some way, these data centers are water hogs. Okay, we're going to drain the water from the local area here. People are going to die because of it. Animals are going to die, and trees are going to die. That's not the case. Modern data centers are what's called a closed-loop system. You fill up a reservoir and they reuse the water just like a radiator in your car. Okay, so very, very little water is actually being used. Case in Gilroy here. Okay, they're replacing our garlic farm that was there. The garlic farm, you will use 2-3 times more water than the data center is. So we're actually realistically using less water having a data center there than if we let it continue to be a garlic farm. You won't hear that from the activists. Okay, you will hear this half truth that all of a sudden they're going to run out of water. And come up with some fabricated thing. They'll make a picture of a tree dying or kids dying, whatever, to support that. No actual practical truth behind it. Okay. So now that's going to get, and also here's something too. Gilroy, that facility is relatively close to a reclamation plant. Okay, water reclamation plant, which that water could be used to cool down that facility and other facilities. Without impeding on the local potable water system. Same thing's going to go on with the local potential project over here in high desert in Adelanto here. Okay, the local area here. In fact, something else that people don't realize here too. I've had like 25 years in the water industry, so and I know pretty well how reclamation systems work. One thing is our local water reclamation facility here, it's not used to its capacity. We're still dumping a lot of water in the Mojave River because we frankly don't have any practical use for it. Okay? that water could easily be pumped into that area that Adelanto's talking about, putting a data center in. Cool down that center, provide water or irrigation to all the other industrial facilities over there, and in fact come back around and still dump the water into Mojave River and safely dump it too. Okay, well it would in long story short, it would be zero impact on the local potable water system. Okay, so that's the fact here. What we're hearing though here is these data centers are going to be like Niagara Falls or something like that. Okay, let me add something here too. These data centers, there's three kind of key things that need to happen. First of all, they need to get them cool. They need to be dry. They also need to be dust proof. Okay, if you run that much water through a data center, you can have a problem with the last two. Okay, imagine taking a garden hose and spraying your computer with it. What's going to happen? Okay, that much water is going to cause a problem. You don't want that much water. In fact, you'd rather not have water around that stuff here. So that's another thing or two. Another fallacy going on. Also here too. Let me kind of roll back to talked about the train of thought here. Let me go back to why we need data centers here too. That's another fallacy that came up here. It says, well, we don't need the data centers and convince everybody that's going to happen. Well, here's the fact, cold hard fact here. We do need them. We need a lot of them. Need a lot more of them. Okay. Let's imagine couple things that come to mind here. First of all, banking. All right. Without data centers here, ATMs don't work. Your online banking doesn't work. If you need money over the weekend, you're gonna have to get your local bank, at Friday afternoon. Take whatever money you need to sustain the weekend. Okay. If you want to go somewhere, whatever, you got to use the paper thing, whatever. Our lifestyle will roll back 40, 50 years. Okay, it would suck. All right, healthcare. This is a more important thing here. Most all of our health information goes through a data center, several data centers probably. You go in the ER, okay, they're going to pop up a computer your most current information on your health care, your whatever drugs you're taking, whatever. Without that, the doctor's making a guess. And furthermore here too, maybe some critical thing going on here. Data centers, long story short, can literally saving lives because be able to access data more quickly. Stuff that would be able to access within seconds or would be impossible without a data center. They're literally saving lives. Okay? Argue against all you want. But those are facts. Those are just two things. Okay? Not to mention here what we're doing here right now. Social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff. That's all in data centers. Okay? AI just have to be the next layer onto this whole thing. Okay? Now, let's talk about Adelanto, okay? And also why Adelanto. A lot of people don't think about that. They're just thinking, well, all of a sudden they're sneaking in data centers to Adelanto. First of all, from what I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, there's a hearing coming out, I think this week, maybe even today or tomorrow, sometime this week, about a zone changing to allow data centers. I don't think there's any contract involved yet. I don't know the property purchase yet. Simply to public hearing allow whether we should have data centers there or not. Okay. Obviously, there's a lot of pushback from everywhere on this. Okay, and that's perfectly fine. That's what public hearings are for. Okay, hear the public out. Now, you don't hear about why Adelanto and why not someplace else. Okay. From my perspective here, you got a couple things in favor of Adelanto. First of all, you're relatively close to a water treatment plant, so any type of water they would need could come from the treatment plant and not from potable water sources. So it would eliminate any issues with trying to our potable water supply, which is limited. Okay. Second of all, it's close to the SCLA has a gas generator plant there. which will provide at least supplemental power or total power for this data center. And I'll be up front, data centers take power. Okay, about 2/3 of the power that's going to need for a data center or chip manufacturer is going to be actually literally cooling. Okay, about a third is going to be running computers, 2/3 going to be cooling. So they take a tremendous amount of power. However, modern data centers and modern technology, much of that can be provided by solar, wind, gas generators. Okay. Furthermore, because it's in California, data centers cannot rely on California shore power because there could be brownouts and blackouts at any moment. Data centers can't go down like that. So all of them, every one of I've seen has some type of battery, some type of backup that can do 100% off whatever the backup system is. So they could potentially operate totally independent off of local sources. Where the SCL comes in here, they've already built a gas generator system here to supplement power for the industrial stuff that's supposed to go around SCLA, Adelanto, so on and so forth. Okay, that's been up for a few years. A lot of controversy how it got there, but the fact is it's there. Okay, so there's an opportunity to utilize an underused utility in our area here for a data center, whatever. Okay, third thing is we badly need the jobs. Okay, Adelanto is unfortunately all of our communities here have a very high unemployment, a very high poverty rate. All of us, including Apple Valley, Adelanto more so. Those jobs are desperately needed no matter where they come from. People claim, well, data centers don't really create a lot of jobs. They create high-paying jobs, okay? High-paying tech jobs. On top of that, they also create some contractors and contractors to clean the system up, so on and so forth. They're also a gateway to other tech companies, tech industries, tech businesses, such as chip manufacturing. And something else for most people to realize, this country desperately needs chip manufacturing. We're way, way behind. Okay, we should have 20, 30 facilities, something similar to what's out there in Chandler, Arizona there. So if somehow, some way, the data center kind of gets approved, people approve it, this will be a gateway for other bigger businesses. And these chip manufacturers, they'll invest billions of dollars into our community, not billions. Okay, all of our local cities here are clamoring for money. They can't pay the roads. This could be an opportunity to take care of it. Okay, we could be in the next Irvine or next San Jose or whatever. If things go in a certain direction, we'll get to, but I'll get to reason why it's not going to happen. Okay. So, example 2, Chandler, Arizona. I didn't bring that up. I remember Chandler when back was just farmed down. As far as you can see, just a bunch of dairy cows everywhere. Intel came in, dropped in one of the largest chip manufacturing facilities in the whole world right there. The place metamorphoses virtually overnight. All of a sudden becomes a tech mecca. Okay. It could be Adelanto. Okay. Good or bad. Okay. If this happen, it's going to happen big and quick. And a lot of money can be thrown, they're going to be pushing into that little community. And they desperately need that. We desperately need that. Okay. And whether you like it or not, that's a fact we can look at realistically. If this data center goes in, other technology is going to follow, and there's a potential Adelanto, this whole area, morphosizing something it isn't. Okay. All right. Here's the reality of this whole thing. Okay. All that stuff, unfortunately, is not going to happen. Okay. It is not going to happen. The fact is, too many things for the data center to exist at that location. Several things have to line up, okay, to make that happen, to make it realistic. Okay, a couple of things are going to be local buy-in and our leadership, local leadership buy-in. We don't have that. We don't have that at all. Okay. Unfortunately, a handful of people around here kind of see my vision I'm seeing here. Maybe there's a chance that there could be a tech mecca, whatever. But there's too many. There's only a handful of us. Too many more bought into the fact that data centers are evil. They're going to kill kids. They're going to kill animals and family and farms and whatever. So they're evil and it's not going to happen. All right. I'll be up front. There's a Trader Joe's. It's probably renowned that Trader Joe's won't open a store up here, frankly, because there are not enough college graduates. In other words, we're stupid. Unfortunately, that's the fact around here. Okay, I know I'm gonna get pushback on that, but it is what it is. Okay, all the people that don't want the data centers, you're gonna get your wish. It's not gonna happen. Okay, as much as I can explain this out to them blue in the face, it's not gonna happen. Okay. And they're going to go somewhere else. That's for sure. They're going to find a community that's going to embrace this and take it on, and all that is going to go somewhere else. Okay, or they're going to change the technology a bit too. That's probably going to happen. Now, I'm going to get into that a whole other video. So anyway, so all your people that are upset about me talking about data centers and how good it is and all this stuff, frankly, you're right. It's not going to happen. Okay. All right, in closing, first of all, before I close this out here, I want to express a few things here. Just for speaking out like this, I'm going to get a lot of pushback, a lot more than what most people see publicly. I will get some people privately threatening me, okay? Physical threatening me. This has happened a lot, okay? Most of you know that there's issues with my Facebook account. I get these flags all the time. I'm not recommendable. It's probably because there's people out there that had reported me because they don't like my opinion. Okay, this is definitely going to trigger those people. Okay, they're I absolutely know I'm going to get some nasty notes or somebody could report this to whoever out there. I'm banking the fact most of these threats have no teeth. Okay, and I hope I'm right on this because I'm wrong just once. My family, myself is in danger. Keep that in mind when you listen to this and you have an issue with me. Okay? I don't mind people debating me on this. I don't mind a civil discourse. I am concerned that people are going to take this thing violently in the real world. Okay? I hope that doesn't happen. So that said, well, as I mentioned, I have researched this a lot. I acknowledge that I'm the expert here. I'm the one that's been in data centers. I've been doing this for 30, 40 years. I'm still alive. My son's still alive. My wife's still alive. Nobody died because of data centers from our family here. Okay. What you're hearing is a lot of propaganda, a lot of money behind this propaganda to push it out, to convince folks out there to believe what they have here. Okay. Let me back up here a little bit too. I'm going to be emphasize on these groups here. They've raised a lot of money. What are they going to spend it on? They're not going to spend it on homeless or smart house or homeless houses, whatever, or feed the children or whatever. They're going to spend it on their staff and trying to find ways to debunk what I'm talking about. Okay. I have no money in this. This is just me talking. In fact, I'm probably going to be losing money because of my stance on this. It is what it is. Okay. That said, thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking out for as long as I have here. I will appreciate any feedback on this, any pushback. Fantastic. And any questions, by all means. Okay. You know where I found me. All right. That's it. And we'll talk to you later.